Joining us now, the ranking member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Democratic Senator Ben Cardin of Maryland, and Dean of the School of International Studies at the University of Denver, former U.S. Ambassador to South Korea and former Assistant Secretary of State for East Asia, Christopher Hill.
I was going to say that is the university I want to go to after going to Harvard, the University of Dinner. That sounds good.
Denver.
Oh, okay, very good. All right, so we go from offhanded remarks to the talk of nuclear war. Ben Cardin, obviously, Bob Corker, the most powerful Republican on Capitol Hill when it comes to foreign policy, says the president may be leading us down a path to World War III. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, Joe, let me tell you, what the president's doing is reckless and dangerous. What will happen is unclear. We don't know what the international community's response will be, but we know he's putting America at much greater risk. We're close now to a military confrontation in North Korea. What he's planning to do in Iran, the results of that are very unclear. I agree with Senator Corker that the president's comments are reckless and dangerous.
So, Senator, what can you do? What can members of Congress do on one of the most concerning issues if he is leading us to World War III? A year ago, when Mika and I were talking about how the president had asked a foreign policy advisor 3 times in an hour meeting why we couldn't use nuclear weapons, General Hayden was on the show saying, well, unfortunately, the system is built for speed, not for safety. Is there something with Donald Trump being president, with more people talking about him being irrational? Is there perhaps some legislative solutions to this, on the president being able to launch a first strike?
Well, it's going to be extremely difficult. As you know, the president has inherent powers, and it's very difficult for Congress to prevent the president from exercising his immediate authority as commander-in-chief. But we can set up guardrails that could be helpful. We have said before, the use of forces should be controlled by Congress. We have not authorized the use of military force in Korea. It would be good if Congress was pretty directive as to how that power should be exercised. I think it'd be very difficult to get Congress to act, but yes, we could take some action, and it could have some impact.
Ambassador Hill, it's Willie Geist. We've had some pretty dark and sobering assessments on this show this week about the situation in North Korea, both from experts on the subject, also from New York Times' Nick Kristof, who sat at this table, just got back from 5 days in North Korea and said he didn't see a country, and especially a leadership, that was going to be deterred by sanctions, and in fact was energized by having been elevated to the level of the United States by President Trump on the world stage. So where are you right now in this crisis? How concerned are you as a former ambassador to South Korea?
Well, I'm very concerned. I mean, there are a lot of reasons to be concerned coming out of the region. First of all, the president's bellicosity on this is not helpful. I mean, I don't know where he got a North Korean speechwriter, but he sounds just like the North Koreans. And for them, it's kind of music to their ears. I think from the West Coast,
but go ahead.
From the North Korean perspective, they have the perfect foil. You know, they're always telling their people, look, we're encircled, we're in danger, we need to pull together, we need to prepare for war. So this is perfect for them. If you're a member of the South Korean public, you're living a few miles away from North Korea, they have 14,000 artillery tubes. This is extremely worrisome, and there's a real lack of confidence in American political leadership today. And then if you're China, sort of unsure which way you're going to go, are we more worried about U.S. troops than we are about North Korea's behavior? There's a lot of reasons for the Chinese not to resolve that issue and to be kind of less focused on really putting the energy we need to be put on North Korea. So we have a president who, at the end of the day, doesn't understand any of these things. He has a kind of vague idea. He wants to help Shinzo Abe in Japan. He doesn't seem to understand the role of Japanese public opinion, their concerns about the overall situation. And I think as a general proposition, we have to understand that the U.S. is not exerting adult leadership here, and it's very worrisome to everybody.
John Heilman.
Ambassador, I want to stick with you and just ask you to range a little bit outside your area of specific expertise. You know, we've got a series of stories here The president talking about wanting to at least contemplate the increase of the nuclear arsenal. We have the president talking about decertifying the Iran deal. We have the president saber-rattling on North Korea, all connected to the issue of nuclear weapons. So I'm curious as to whether, as you look at this pattern of behavior, whether it indicates in your mind some degree of a lack of not fully grasping one of the kind of underlying premises of American foreign policy and national security over the past, well, since we dropped the atomic bomb in World War II, which is nuclear weapons should not be used, and we should do everything we can to reduce the likelihood that they will be used.
Well, you got it. I mean, we have, and the Russians have far more nuclear weapons than we need. I mean, we have enough nuclear weapons to destroy the world many times over. So the notion that the president's sitting and watching a briefing and doesn't like one of the charts he's shown, because they can't show him verbiage because he won't read. So he looks at this chart and he says, oh, we need more nuclear weapons. I don't take it all that seriously. I think it speaks to the fact that we have a president who simply refuses to analyze things and only looks at things in terms of being tough. I think it's also important to understand that we can, to use the president's term, destroy North Korea many times over, and we don't need nuclear weapons for that. We have plenty of assets. We have world's most powerful military, more powerful than the next 10 countries. We don't need nuclear weapons to deal with North Korea. And I think the U.S. military knows that very well.
Senator Cardin, Susan Page here. We think that the president is about to turn over the issue of what to do about the Iran nuclear deal to Congress. A couple different things Congress could choose to do. What do you think Congress will do about the Iran nuclear deal when we see this expected action by the president?
First, let me say what the president is doing is certainly against our national security interests. He's doing this because he wants to do it, not because it's in the best interest of our country. That's the question you asked is a critical question. We don't know what Congress will do. We do know that we have 60 days to exercise an expedited process that would back us out of the Iran nuclear agreement. The pressure may build on Congress to take a vote on that, and the outcome is certainly not clear. So there is a big question mark as to what happens next. I think the president's going to suggest that we can somehow change parts of the nuclear agreement. Congress can't do that. That's something that is not going to happen. We need to enforce the nuclear agreement, and we need to take action against Iran in regards to its non-nuclear activities. And the president's going to make that more challenging.
Ranking member of the Foreign Relations Committee, Senator Ben Cardin, thank you very much. And former U.S. Ambassador Christopher Hill, thank you as well.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.